Hello and welcome to the Scan Zone, the only place to be for all your tech requirements. In case you weren't aware, here at Scan we build pretty amazing computers. Check out these beauties being made right now next door. I'm here at Scan HQ, well, Scan Computers International to be precise. A company so ace that we're officially suppliers of high-performance personal computers and IT hardware to Her Majesty the Queen. This is Scan, this is Bolton, this is the Scan Zone. Coming up, game changers, the high-definition graphics cards that are powering the 4K experience like never before. Prepare to meet the Titan X. Plus, even better than the real thing, we bring you up to date with the VR and augmented reality revolution. And we use our crystal ball to throw forward 10 years into the bargain. And a whole new ball game. FIFA 17 gets up close and personal with role-play heroes joining the team action.
It's all come down to this.
Come on, Ellie!
Now this summer has seen some pretty gigantic strides forwards with graphics cards. Bigger performance in handling 4K quality at more affordable prices amongst the truckload of product launches in recent weeks. Game changers, literally, but one particular heavyweight has been grabbing the headlines. It's Nvidia's Titan X. Scan Zone reporter Alan Rook takes a look.
It's a top-end product for gamers demanding big processing muscle. Nvidia's Titan X is a giant, a 12-gig giant. Very fast, very smooth. And it comes at a price where gamers would expect nothing less. So is it worth the money? It's 3 times as expensive as AMD's Fury X. It's obviously a 4K decision, a huge leap into the world beyond standard 1080 HD. And Titan X is certainly a ready-made star in that better-looking territory, as Scan's volunteer gamers have been finding out. But you want speed as well as 4 times the pixels. It gives that too. Compared to the GTX 1080, you can be looking at 40% faster. In fact, all that extra silicon makes the Titan X monstrously fast. It's the first single GPU graphics card to deliver silky smooth action at better than 60 frames per second at 4K. It's been benchmarked running Doom at an average frame rate of 83 FPS. A pretty useful tool for VR games too. The sheer amount of processing power also makes the Titan X a compelling choice for compute in workstations and servers, with 10.9 teraflops single precision performance. Currently, the only way to get Titan X is inside a PC. So here at Scan, we've designed a huge array of 3XS systems just for the job.
Well, you saw them in that report there. The eyeballs on the screen, the hands-on end users, it's the game players. And of course, the only opinion that really counts. Let's talk to one of them now. Joining me here in the studio, it's Ricky Hall, also known as MCR Gamer on your YouTube channel. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Some pretty impressive stats we've just heard there. Let's talk specifically about the Titan X in reference to resolution and frame rates. How does it stack up?
Well, obviously, every gamer wants to get that 60 frames per second and a 4K resolution. And with previous generations, you could just about get there. But with the Titan X now, you can go beyond that.
It's all over it.
Definitely.
Is it the daddy of graphic cards though? Because we did mention there's been a summer of a whole host of releases. Yeah. Is this the kind of top boy there?
Well, obviously, you're starting off at the 1060, you're working your way up, always the Titan X, and this is the biggest one, it is the best. And compared to its competitors, they can't even touch it.
Nice, like it. That's quite an accolade there, isn't it?
It is.
4K gaming, we did kind of touch upon a little bit there. Let's talk about it in reference to how it's going to handle VR gaming though.
Okay, so with previous VR titles, you know, other previous graphics cards could handle it. But some people were affected by motion sickness, and that was due to the frame rates that the graphics cards were pumping out. But with the new Titan X, it has no issues pumping out the frame rates, and there's no motion sickness from anywhere I've seen anyway.
You're a big fan.
I'm a massive fan.
You've been testing it out for us today. You were actually playing Overwatch. In fact, we can see there. So how did it handle this particular title then?
But obviously Overwatch is a big title at present, many people are playing it, and the Titan X can handle Overwatch with no issues. There's no stuttering in the frame rate whatsoever, and when you couple that with a 4K monitor, you're getting perfect visuals.
Brilliant, so you had a great time with us today.
Very good time.
Fantastic. Let's talk about the price point though. We did touch upon it there. It's not cheap.
It's not cheap, no.
Is it worth it though?
It's well worth it. Obviously you're going to be paying a lot of money for this, but as we said before, it's future proof. You know, you're getting good performance out of it, and you will do with many titles in years to come.
Brilliant. Now, we mentioned you have your own YouTube channel. Very quickly, you are obviously a serious gamer, so you would be investing. In terms of those who will be asking you questions about it in a nutshell, tell us about the Titan X in your words.
Get one.
There you go, couldn't have said better myself. Ricky, thank you very much for coming in today, and thanks for coming to the Scan Zone.
Thank you for having me.
The world will never be the same again. I mean, it won't, will it? Pokemon Go is just the tip of the iceberg, and that's really something when you're talking about a global phenomenon that's already clocked more than 500 million downloads in just a couple of months. And that's just a hint of a gaming and recreational revolution that's heading our way like a giant wave. Virtual reality and augmented reality gaming is massive. Here at Scan, we've even built a VR theatre so our customers can try out the kit themselves. Scan's Tom Gregory is out there in store right now. Tom, it's been a busy few months down there.
Well, it certainly has been a busy few months. I mean, last year we saw this technology in the hands of devs, and now we're finally seeing the consumer versions launched. We've already had a few big releases this year, namely Hover Junkers and the Labs, and quite a portion of the games are free as long as you've got the kit. We're taking it that seriously that we've made our own VR theatre. The issue is we can't show you what it's like on the camera, but we can get Sam to describe it for us. Sam?
Well, I'm playing on the Labs at the moment, on the bow and arrow game, and I must admit, I really enjoy it. It's difficult to describe because obviously of the VR, but all the little bits, they really add to that immersion. I mean, for instance, you can set your arrows on fire, there's loads of little explosives to help you along, and since it's being free, it's such a good game. Now, I just don't know where they're going to go after this, to be honest with you.
Well, that's it described for you by Sam. I mean, you can feel free to come down and try it any time, and if you're keeping your eyes out for it, the next big release is going to be raw data.
Thanks for that, Tom. Now, fresh from Eurogamer at Birmingham's NEC and the Scan HTC Nvidia stand is Chris Pomroy from Nvidia. And Chris, virtual reality really was the big theme there this year, wasn't it?
2016's been the year for VR so far. We've gone from seeing development kits and development software transition into full-blown retail products, with HTC launching the Vive back in May to great success. And as we come out of September and into October, it's Oculus's turn to release the Rift on the world public.
It's a fantastic, really exciting year for VR. Talk us through some of the main breakthroughs then in 2016.
This year's certainly been a year of major breakthroughs. If we step outside the product releases from HTC and Oculus, you have to look at what's been powering these amazing VR experiences. Back in May, we at Nvidia launched the Pascal architecture in the form of the desktop GTX 1080 and 1070, and we've been bringing out further products throughout the range. Only a couple of months ago, we took our amazing architecture from desktop and transitioned that into a mobile footprint, so now you can enjoy VR anywhere on the go.
Brilliant, really exciting stuff. And finally, we're moving into sort of the Christmas sales period now. How big an impact do you think VR is going to have then for Christmas sales?
Christmas is going to be a huge time for VR. By the time we get to November and December, both of the main protagonists will have their VR headsets and associated accessories out for sale within the general public. As we see those products come to market, we'll then see more and more software titles coming from the likes of Ubisoft and EA, which will only add to the existing software stack that's already out there. So anyone that's looking for VR for Christmas will have all of the hardware and all of the software they need to be able to have a really amazing VR experience.
Chris Pomroy, we're going to leave you there. Thank you so much for your time. That's Chris Pomroy from Nvidia. So So that's the state of play right now. But where the heck will it all end? I mean, really. Where's this whole VR thing going to be in 2026? An interesting question, I hear you say. Well, we'll be putting precisely that question to two wise men of tech a little later in the show. They're called Futurists, which sounds pretty cool. Let's talk headlines now, tech headlines. And GoPro is unveiling its first really significant upgrade in 2 years, and going airborne too. The Karma drone kit folds into a backpack and also features a detachable stabiliser that can be used to make handheld shots steadier. In addition to Karma, GoPro have launched Hero 5, a camera you control with voice commands. They've high hopes for both after posting losses of £179 million across the last 3 quarters. Over in the US, the formal recall of the Samsung Galaxy Note 7 is well underway after the fire-prone phone was withdrawn from global sale. Indeed, Samsung have issued a return kit which includes a box, within another fireproof box, plus a pair of gloves for handling the materials involved. The company has seen more than $20 billion wiped off its market value in the days following its mass recall. The SSD market's been shaken up with the launch of Intel's 600P series. The PCIe M2 drives communicate at lightning-fast speeds without commanding a premium price. The range is available from 128 gig up to 1 terabyte, and even the 256 gig model reads at more than 1500 megabytes per second. It retails for 99 quid. That's just 38 pence per gig. Could esports be part of the Olympics in 2020? The International Olympic Committee has written to the International Esports Federation outlining the process and next steps to become part of the official programme. Video games were in Rio, but on the sidelines. Now many are taking the appearance of Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe as Super Mario in the closing ceremony in Rio as a good omen for Tokyo 2020. Now time to focus on FIFA, the year in question, 2017. On sale from September the 29th, it's a huge leap forward in engagement, with roleplay, proper storytelling, all part of the fun as we become the player, not just playing as a team. More on that in just a bit, but first, what a journey it's been, eh? With the benefit of hindsight and 20 years of development, it looks a little bit like the Sunday afternoon pub team that went on to win the World Cup. Let's remind ourselves of the game so far. Shall we start in 1994? Why not?
Sometimes you just need to let things go.
Kick footballs into the net. Come on, it's not that complicated.
It's all come down to this.
Come on, Alex!
Go on, Alex, take him on.
Oh, lovely stuff. And here to talk more about that is FIFA fanatic Mike Fairclough. Cheers for joining us.
It's all right, you're welcome.
I think it's probably fair to say you're pretty excited right now.
Yeah, can't wait, to be honest. So.
The release is imminent. We've just had a little flashback there through the ages of FIFA. Did it get you all nostalgic? Talk us through some of your FIFA memories.
It did. Well, I can remember being 10 years old with my brother and my friends and his friends and all sitting around with our pop and milk, water, and then obviously now, being 22 years old, we've all got beers with my friends, so yeah, it's been brilliant like, playing it throughout the years. So.
Nice, it's played a big part for you then.
Yeah, most definitely, yeah.
Growing up. Talking about the features of FIFA 17, we mentioned it there a little bit at the top, but perhaps the most anticipated feature of this new update is the role-play element. What are you most looking forward to about that?
Yeah, well, they've got a new feature now called The Journey, where it's a young lad, 17 years old, called Alex Hunter, who goes and plays for Manchester United. So that's the feature I'm most looking forward to anyway. They've never done anything like it before, so that's personal for me, that's what I'm really excited to do.
I think it's fair to say from FIFA 16, in terms of improving the gameplay, there wasn't really many places he could go to, so the role-play feature is something people are getting really excited about.
Right.
As a casual gamer, someone who watches Match of the Day with your mates, say for example, do you think you're going to be able to empathise then with these players on the pitch, having had the chance to do the role?
Yeah, definitely, yeah, because when I come across problems in like career mode or whatever, I can definitely see where managers get infuriated with their players or like injuries and everything. So yeah, so I can work out formations and then see if they're doing them formations. So yeah, it's brilliant, yeah. Can compare them.
I love it, the enthusiasm in your face. It's like reality and gaming kind of merging.
Well, yeah, no, that's it. That's the exciting part about it, so.
Fantastic. And in terms of kind of sporting titles, not just kind of football category, where does FIFA stack up then? Is it kind of top boy there?
It's got to be number one. Yeah. I played American football games, basketball games, boxing games. However, for me, FIFA, it's been consistent throughout the years. It's been brilliant, so yeah.
I had thought as our FIFA fanatic, that might be your answer, Mike.
yeah. So yeah, it's number one. It always will be, I think, so.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed the new release. Thanks very much for joining us here on Scan Zone today.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Real opening now. Hunter has missed a great chance.
How does it feel to have signed?
Another striker. They're planning on playing Gareth in behind him. Going out on loan could be the making of you, lad. I just want to play football.
So what about those top tips? Tech products our departments at Scan are really pumped about this month. Let's take a look.
Roland released 21st century versions of the classic acid house pairing of the TR-909 drum machine and the TB-303 bassline synth, along with the legendary VP-330 vocoder. The Be Blue 4K video wall combines 4 identical 1080 resolution panels into a supersized 4K display. The 3XS X99 Carbon Fluid Extreme SLI has 2 Titan X with an overclocked 8-core CPU and water cooling and a colour of your choice. The Nvidia Quadro P6000 brings the Pascal architecture to the professional world with 3,840 CUDA processing cores. Kodak PixPro SB360 Duo Pack has 2 action cameras to provide 360-degree coverage, including stitching software to create immersive content for YouTube and Facebook.
Top tips there from the team at Scan. And here's the 360 camera in action. Ooh, take a look at them, the little rascals I get to work with every day. And for more on this and all of the tech we feature here on the Scan Zone, do please visit our website. Web address is on screen now for you. Now some more tech headlines for you, the part of the show we like to call the life hack. If you're not confident in the kitchen, Panasonic may have the answer. Unveiled at IFA Berlin, their intelligent kitchen gives you your very own virtual chef to tell you what to do. But better still, if you're having family or friends over, everyone can cook their own meal, simply by placing ingredients on a plate on the table and covering. The gadget cooks food as needed for each menu choice and to each individual's taste, so no more overdone steak. Now, have you ever wanted to read a book without turning a page? Well, thanks to some new tech being developed by MIT, that isn't as far-fetched as it might sound. Researchers have built a device that uses terahertz radiation to see through paper and distinguish ink from blank spaces. They say they're close to a system that will be able to read the whole of a book through the cover. Seeing that low battery alert on your phone is never a pleasant feeling, but what if you lived in a remote village with only solar power and the sun isn't shining? Well, solar power firm Missouri reckons it has the answer. Its new home start system learns your electricity usage patterns and monitors climate conditions too. All that to make sure the stored solar power is used in the most efficient way, meaning you get that vital charge when you most need it. Now, this may be something a lot of you do already, but now it's official advice from the FBI. Cover your webcams. Bureau Director James Comey is advising everyone to tape up the camera, just as he does to prevent hackers from spying. He says it's just like locking your car or house at night. Now, earlier in the show, we sent Scan's Tom Gregory trotting across the Scan Store showroom for an insight into what's hot in virtual and augmented reality right now. And Nvidia's Chris Pomroy told us about the explosion in VR in 2016. But now, as promised, it's crystal ball time. Joining me in the studio, Futurist Tom Cheesewright, and from Eurogamer at Birmingham's NEC, via a hard-pressed Wi-Fi system, we've got Graham Breen from HTC. Thank you to both of you for joining me. Tom, in the studio here with me now. Let's start with you. 2026, what am I going to be doing in the world of virtual and augmented reality?
Well, I guess it depends how solitary or sociable you're feeling. I think we're going to see a massive explosion in really sociable VR experiences. Right now, you put the headset on, you're locked away in this virtual world, and you're not really communicating with anyone unless they're also playing the game somewhere else. Sociable VR, where you're running around with a backpack, the headset on your head, and some sort of effectively toy gun in your hands, or whatever the controller might be, in giant warehouses, are really starting to take off places like Japan and the US. I think there'll be a big phenomenon by 2026. At home, what you're going to see is much cheaper hardware. Right now, it's a bit of a minority sport. It's expensive. You need a really high-powered PC to get the best experiences. That's going to shrink right down into a headset, probably combined with an augmented reality and virtual reality headset, so that you can mix reality or completely deep dive into that fantasy world.
I love it. So it's going to be more mainstream 10 years from now, as we might expect. We'll come back to you in just a moment, but we'll cross to Graham. Graham, thanks for joining us.
Hi, no problem.
Hi. Now, from HTC's perspective, obviously we're looking at the Vive in 2016. Throw it forward 10 years, where are we going to be from HTC's perspective?
It actually gets really interesting. What it's all about, actually, is the number of places it's going to touch your life. So as you can probably hear in the background, I'm sat at Eurogamer, EGX Expo this week. We're showing Vive to sort of hardcore gamers. But going forward 5-10 years, actually, it's going to infiltrate your life in so many ways you didn't think would be the case. Whether that's how your child learns something in school, or how you learn something in university, how the medical profession use it, for example, looking at you before an operation, or using it to deal with phobias, as an example. There's so many uses, and people are just at the start of that at the moment.
It's quite incredible, isn't it? I mean, you both touched upon it there about now, 2016, we think very much of gaming, don't we? It's going to be tapping into all sorts of industries. We spoke a little bit there about education and also kind of the health industry. Tom, we'll come back to you. There's been talk of how it might even help to connect us. So, for example, you might live in Australia, grandma's sort of in the middle of Manchester somewhere, it's raining, Christmas Day, you can be having Christmas dinner together, for example. Is this going to be the future? Is this what you predict will happen?
Yeah, I think we've seen with social networks, the ability to see people, to talk to people in video calls, has brought people closer together. The world's smaller now than it has been. Put people both in the same virtual environment where they can experience the same things and see the full physical reality, almost tricking your brain into thinking that person's there. It could be a huge communication market for VR in the future.
We think as well I certainly do, when we're talking about virtual reality and augmented reality, perhaps younger generations, is this something that older generations might be embracing 10 years from now as well? We mentioned grandma having Christmas dinner. Is this likely to happen?
Oh, absolutely. I think the speed at which things like Facebook have been adopted by the older generations, because they see the benefit. They're not going to adopt technology for technology's sake, but if they can be in the same room as their grandchildren at a moment's notice just by popping on a headset, that makes it really appealing.
Lovely thought. Is it Graham? We'll come back to you. Any other areas you think where virtual and augmented reality might be making a bit of an impact?
I mean, we're talking about the different people within the family. I mean, I've already had it Christmas Day last year with my family. The whole family saw it. But I think you're going to go to the shops, you're going to walk into a VR situation, you're going to go to the movies, you're going to come across VR. I think it's going to be surprising just how many parts of your life actually are going to be impacted by VR.
Fantastic, so it really is the future. Any kind of quirky areas, we spoke a little bit earlier, things that you might not expect, maybe where virtual and augmented reality might be kind of making a little...
I think love and relationships is going to be a really interesting area. We've seen the takeoff of platforms like Tinder, which have fundamentally changed how people start to interact with each other. You're interacting a virtual element to that, where you can literally be anybody you want to be in that virtual environment. It doesn't have to be a perfect representation of you. It can be any sort of character. And we already seen this with dating sites, people posting photos that perhaps aren't them or them at their very best. We're going to see people posting virtual reality people that aren't quite them either.
Interesting, the mind boggles. So any final thoughts from you, Jen? Graham, we'll come back to you. Virtual reality, augmented reality, 10 years from now, sum it up for me in a nutshell.
In 10 years' time, you'll be able to basically go to places that you can never imagine now. It's really opens complete new worlds for everyone. Really exciting.
Fantastic, I'm excited. Over to you, Tom, for the final word, 10 years from now in a nutshell.
I don't think we'll know the difference between what's real and what's virtual. The two will blend seamlessly.
Gosh, quite scary. Tom, Graham, thanks chaps, fascinating stuff there. And of course you can keep up to date with what's happening right now in VR and augmented reality at the Scan website and on our YouTube channel. Okay, we're there. Show 1 done. Thanks to everyone who played a part and a cheery see you soon from all the team at Scan. Come and pay us a visit really soon. And if you're watching on YouTube, click down there to subscribe. Keep watching to find out how to contact us and give us your ideas. What would you like to see us do next on the Scan Zone? Let us know. From me, Nikki Dean, enjoy your tech and see you next time.